Hey everyone! So today we are going to be taking some inspiration from the artist George Rodrigue and creating our own blue dog. So the first thing that we're going to need is a piece of paper, a pencil, and a Sharpie. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw the blue dog. I'm gonna show you the steps, and then we're gonna talk about the things that you can kind of add to blue dog, decorations for the background, and all those extra fun things. So to start, towards the top of my paper here, not at the very top, I'm gonna come down just a little bit. I'm gonna start by creating the snout for blue dog. So I'm gonna draw a line coming up, and then I'm gonna do kind of this funky zigzag line, and then another line coming down. Then I'm gonna do a oval shape connecting at the bottom. In the middle here, this is gonna be his nose, so he's gonna get a nice cute oval nose, and a half circle for his jaw. If you want to have his mouth kind of like slightly open a little bit, I'm gonna just add a smaller half oval so that it looks like he's got kind of this little open mouth. You can also add nostrils to the nose if you want as well. Once we have that, then I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting the head. So above his snout here, I'm gonna draw a curved line, and then we're gonna make his ears. Now, blue dog has some big ears, so we're gonna be making triangular shapes, one going towards the right, one going towards the left, and they're kind of fuzzy, so I'm gonna use some zigzag lines. So I'm just gonna come up and I'm gonna draw one of my triangles, like I said, to the right, and then I'm going to do my other one kind of coming off and going towards the left. Then once I have that, I'm going to do kind of a wavier zigzaggy line connecting down to the chin. Once I have that, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the eyes. So blue dog always kind of has this like surprised look on his face. So I'm going to start by making nice circular eyes on each side of the snout, and then I'm going to make the pupil on the inside, and this is the part that I can color in. He also has kind of like a wavy wiggly line going around the eyes, and then another kind of wiggly line at the top to kind of show like eyebrows, and then a little one towards the bottom. I'm also going to add smaller kind of triangles for the inside parts of the ear on each side. All right, so now that I have that part done, I'm going to move on to doing his body. So blue dog's body is pretty simple. I'm gonna start over here by the side of his face. So on the left side, I'm just gonna make kind of a curved line coming down, and then on the right, same thing, making sure I'm not making him too skinny or too wide. Then I'm gonna do his front paws. Now, of course, if the paw's on the left, we're gonna have it turned towards the left side. If it's on the right, we're gonna have it turned towards the right. So to do his paws, I'm just gonna do kind of a wavy line, because again, he's supposed to be kind of furry or fuzzy, so the line doesn't have to be like perfectly round or straight. And then it's gonna kind of come up and over, and then I'm gonna do one on the right side. That one looks a little bit like he's got a big toe, so I'm gonna fix that. All right, so there's blue dog's paws. Then I'm gonna do his back leg, because he's sitting. So his back leg here, I'm just gonna come up with a curved line and down, almost like I'm making a half of a heart shape. And then again, out for a paw. And then his other foot is a little hidden. We don't see his other back leg on the right side does not do the same thing as this one. Kind of comes out just a little bit on the side here, and then I might add just a little line there to kind of show the under part of the belly where his leg would be coming out. And then we have our basic blue dog. Now from here is the fun part. This is where you can start to transform blue dog into whatever you want them to be. So I have some examples. I've got artist blue dog. So he's holding a paintbrush in his mouth. He's got paint splatters. He's got a paint palette, and he's got paintings that he has done in the background. I have birthday party surprise blue dog. Definitely looks surprised in this one. So I've got a cake in the background, presents, he's wearing a party hat. This is my favorite one I've done so far. This is Harry Potter blue dog. So we've got Hogwarts in the background. We've got, he's got his scar, his wand, his scarf. So really guys, the ideas are endless for this. You can make them different types of professions. You can have them, you know, being a fantasy type creature. You can dress them up. Really, the sky's the limit. So once you have figured out what you want them to be, then you want to go ahead and start drawing that on. So for this one, I'm going to give him butterfly wings because I love monarch butterflies. So I think I'm going to make him dress up as a butterfly. So almost like think about him dressing up for a party. And we're going to do the dress part, or whatever you are adding onto them, you are going to do in pencil first, and then we'll talk about how to Sharpie and kind of work on color in just a little bit. So go ahead, start drawing your details on your blue dog. It's like my blue dog's gonna be wearing a shirt, so I'm gonna outline that. So you can start adding kind of those details to him. And then also think about, like I said, your background. What can you add behind him or around on the ground to kind of help show, again, what he is or what he's doing. So go ahead, start working on that. And then the next part will be Sharpie. Okay, so now that I have drawn the details onto Blue Dog and added some things to the background, now I'm ready for Sharpie. If you have thin and thick, that might be helpful, especially if you have little areas that are very small. You can use the thin Sharpie, but if you just have a thick Sharpie, that is fine too. Okay, so once you have Sharpied all of your details, if you have anywhere that you want to stay black, like how I have black on my wings, I went ahead and colored that in with Sharpie already. Now it is time to move on to color. So just because Blue Dog is called blue, and in George Rodriguez's work we see Blue Dog as blue, you don't have to choose blue. Your dog can be whatever color you want. But we are going to think about how to use the different tints and shades of that color. So tints are of course lighter versions of the color, and shades are the darker version of the color. So if you choose purple, we're gonna do like light purples, medium purples, dark purples. If you choose red, same thing. You would do light red, which would be more pink, and then down to a darker red color. So you kind of have to choose first what color you want your dog to be, and then we will also talk about coloring for your background areas as well. All right, so as you can see, I started coloring some of the background details to my Blue Dog. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more about actually coloring the dog itself. Like I said, you can pick any colors that you want, so it doesn't necessarily have to just be blue. You could do purple dog, pink dog, green dog, red dog, whatever you want. But like I said, we're going to pick different shades and tints of our color. So a tint is a lighter version of a color, usually with white added in, and a shade is a darker version of a color. So I just wanted to show you how you can do this with colored pencils, crayons. If you have paint at home, you could totally do this with paint, with mixing some colors together to make lighter and darker versions. So really, it's kind of whatever you have available for you. So for Blue Dog, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a couple different colors of blue out of my crayon set. And of course, I always like to kind of test my colors on the back of my paper before I use them on my actual picture. This is just so I make sure I like the colors and how they're going to look together, because sometimes I might find that some are too close in their shade, and so I might want to pick one. So like with these two, they look very, very similar, so I probably don't want those together. Okay, so I've kind of picked about 4 different colors of blue that I'm going to use for my blue dogs. So the other thing to think about when you're using your tints and shades is thinking about where would there be shadows or highlights to your dog. So if the light is coming from the top, this side of blue dog might be a little bit lighter, whereas the opposite side might be a little darker, or underneath of his legs might be a little bit darker because that's naturally where a shadow would be. And you can kind of use that technique with your blue dogs and how you're going to color. So like for the ear up here, I'm doing kind of darker on the outside edge, a little bit lighter towards the outer edge. So I'm gonna start with my dark blue here. And of course, if you're using crayon or colored pencil, you can also get kind of color changes based on how hard you're pressing down on the color. And of course, the lighter I press, the lighter it's going to be. I'm gonna kind of mix my colors a little bit here. So I'm gonna get kind of my medium blue, and I'm gonna kind of overlap it a little bit with the darker blue. Gonna bring that down and then switch to another lighter version of that blue to kind of overlap. So it's really easy with the crayons to blend colors. Same thing colored pencils. Markers are a little bit more difficult to blend. So if you're using marker, it just might be a little bit harder. So you might just pick different colored markers to use. For blue dog's snout, so usually it's a kind of, you could leave it white, or maybe I want to use my lightest blue for that area. So again, picking areas that you want to kind of be lighter and darker for your blue dog to stand out. And then you're just going to go ahead and color using that color that you picked, and again using kind of the light versions and dark versions of the color. When it comes to background, you guys can kind of color however you want, whatever outfit or designs you have. As you can see, since I'm doing a Save the Monarchs blue dog, he's got the monarch wings in orange, he's got the caterpillar on his front of his shirt, I've got my kind of flower grassy area at the bottom. So background's kind of up to you what you want to add to it. So really, guys, just have fun kind of coloring and adding to your blue dogs. All right, so as you can see, my blue dog is finished, and I have used the different tints and shades of blue to create his fur and color him in. I also made sure to color my background and the accessories that he has, colored in his eyes, gave him his mouth. I can't wait to see what your blue dogs look like.